Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to all of you. Uh, I know it's been a wet morning and a little bit chaotic also because of the Republic Day, but I think we've pulled it all together. I think kudos to the entire teams and Alok, my co-founder, who worked tirelessly over the last few days to make it happen. Uh, I think the theme for this event starts with the word inclusive. And I think when I think of inclusion from an India standpoint, two aspects come to mind. Inclusion from our diversity, the expansive different languages, cultures, social aspects. And the other aspect for inclusion is, of course, the population scale. How do we achieve population scale? How do we empower a billion citizens with technology? I think both these aspects have come together at today's event. If you look at the kind of startups, innovations that you will get to see today. So, for example, we have Rishi from BharatJan who's going to talk about how we are building a foundational model, sovereign model in India to be able to service all Indians in various Indian languages. Similarly, on the innovation side, how do we take the power of AI to every citizen, be it on their mobile phones, smartphones, or their laptops. I think some very interesting work is being done by Intel, by Tejas Networks and others on how do we take intelligence to the edge, how do we enable it. So I think we'll get to see some of that. So all of this has become possible largely because of this group of people who came together a couple of years back, roughly around, I think, late 2022, early 2023, when we started thinking about, what should we be doing from an India standpoint? Because it is very common to see technology being built in India for, Western use cases, Western clients. Very common to adopt technology which has already been built elsewhere. But if you're building technology in India for India, the challenges are of a very different nature. At that time in 2022-23, I think the big concern was availability of compute. Where do we get the GPUs from? Then the other big question was how do we get access to data sets which are Indian, especially in Indian languages and dialects. One thing that I would like to share, when I was the CEO at Prasar Bharati, thanks to Alok and others on the Prasar Bharati board, we had taken a decision that we'll make our digitized archives of Doordarshan and All India Radio available for AI model development. At that time, IIT Kanpur took that data set and then tried to build some models. So a lot of this thinking on how do we enable Indian use cases, Indian context in AI has been around for quite some time. And I think we've made significant progress in the last few years. So that was the genesis of AI4India as a collective to come together with startups, large Indian corporates, academia, researchers, policymakers from government to look at what are the challenges for Indian startups building AI in India for India. So that has been the journey since 23. And since then, we've had different initiatives. We had an initiative around what is called Data Dan, where can we voluntarily encourage institutions, bodies to share their data sets with Indian model developers so that we can build models from an Indian context standpoint. And then most recently, which is the subject of today's release as well, is what is the impact of AI on different stakeholders, be it the student community, be it employers, be it academic institutions. And then there's been a lot of discussion around this. In fact, just in the last 48 hours, I think there's been quite a bit of news coming out of Davos on how AI is going to make entry-level jobs redundant, how entry-level jobs are going to vanish, and so on. So a lot of anxiety around what AI means to the job market, for example, right? And so we thought we'll take a slice of a smaller subset. We'll not look at the entire breadth of AI's impact, but look at specifically around fresh graduates coming out of colleges, coming out of universities. What are the challenges they are facing, likely to face in the job market? So that was the focus of the study. The primary author of this study was Adarsh. I think Adarsh is somewhere here in the audience. There he is. So maybe some of you can get to interact with him. So a lot of the thought process behind the study was to look at to converse with people from these three different stakeholder bodies, be it the student community, be it faculty and academia, and then of course employers, and to understand how are they anticipating the impact of AI, what impact are they already seeing, what anxieties is it causing, and then what is it that we need to do from a policy standpoint. And one of the key things that emerged from this study, which Adarsh and others worked on, was that we have a very small window of opportunity here because the technology is changing so fast. If you look at just the last few weeks, I mean, there has been so much new innovation that has come out with Claude Code, for example, making when there's already talk of making entire software engineering redundant because the Claude framework can generate almost automate all the tasks that software engineers perform, right? So given this rapid shifting of the goalpost, how do we prepare the student community? What measures should the academia take? How should the employers engage with the both academic institutions and the students to prepare them for the job market? So I think those are some of the deliberations that went into this report. Some of you may have already received a copy of it, so you can leaf through it. And there's a detailed version of this which is available online digitally for download as well. One key insight which has come through this study is that a lot of the usage of AI, especially if you look at tier 1 institutions like IIT where we are today, versus students in smaller colleges in rural or semi-rural or semi-urban areas. There's a wide gap there in terms of what access they have to tools, what kind of infrastructure they have, and what that means in terms of the kind of AI skilling that is happening. And one of the key findings was that a lot of these students are using AI tools in a very shallow manner through their smartphones, and they're not able to get the most out of AI. And so one key recommendation that emerges out of this study is that we need to empower students with better devices, especially laptops, where you can run better models, do more in-depth interactions with the AI models and build capabilities. So these are some of the kinds of insights that have emerged from this study, which I think will set the tone for the kind of policy interventions we need for how do we address the issue of employability in the age of AI.